What an odd topic for Student Congress. Introducing teacher screenings for student council entry is out of the blue.
Not so random when you consider her opponent. I don't have the best reputation among teachers.
Are you really gonna participate? Win or lose, I don't see any way you two benefit from this.
We have a good reason. If we can win the debate, our candidacy gains legitimacy in the public eye. Also, I will not let her get away with insulting Kuze and me.
Hey guys, welcome back to Lin-san Reaction. In episode 7, the tension between Aaliyah, Hughes, and Yuki Suo escalated even further, especially during that intense exchange where Aaliyah muttered in Russian about feeling confused and frustrated with Hughes's behavior. Yuki kept stirring things up, clearly aware of Hughes's hidden side, and even hinted that he's not as simple as he pretends to be. The looming student council election added even more pressure on Aaliyah, forcing her to confront both her public image and her private emotions. Now in episode 8, I'm expecting things to get even more personal. Aaliyah might start questioning Hughes directly, especially if his reactions don't match his clueless act anymore. At the same time, Yuki could reveal more about Hughes's past, which might completely change how Aaliyah sees him.
I need her to apologize, and to take back what she said to both of us.
Think she will?
Hey, there's a silver lining here. It's a chance to introduce ourselves and our candidacy ahead of the closing ceremony.
At least there's some good to take from it, I suppose. Fine. We'll make a public announcement by the end of day.
Pardon me, but I'd be happy to draft that announcement.
Thanks, Sewell. Feel free.
And best of luck, both of you. We're cheering you on.
Thanks, Yuki.
Yeah. Alright. Going off everything I know about her, I would expect Taniyama's argument to look like this.
Interesting.
And what would you say to counter that? You should have a response prepared. Yeah, this is some good stuff, though you could stand to be more concise in how you're phrasing it.
Hey, can I ask you? You know her. Why is she like this? Are you on bad terms?
I'd like to think not, at least. I feel like there was always an air of mutual respect when we worked together in middle school.
Sure. But if you two always got along, why would she say what she said to us?
I wish I could tell you. Though, to make an educated guess, I would assume she thinks I entered the election just to stir up a little trouble.
If that's the case, how'd she get such a negative impression of you to begin with?
Well, everyone expected me to enter the running with Yuki. But I decided against working with everyone's favorite to win, and wound up agreeing to partner with someone else instead. Who could blame her for doubting my motives after that?
But that would mean... They were fine until I came into the picture. It's because we teamed up. It's my fault.
What's that? You good?
Back in the student council room, the president announced the main topic for this year's student conference. The discussion would revolve around incorporating teacher evaluations into the process of appointing student council members. Hearing that, Masachika couldn't help but feel that the theme was a bit ridiculous, especially since he wasn't exactly on good terms with the teachers to begin with. To him, the entire conference didn't seem like it would benefit anyone involved. Elisa, however, saw things differently. She believed that if she could defeat Soraka in this debate, her position as a candidate for student council president would become much more secure. On top of that, Soraka had said some rather unpleasant things about both her and Masachika before, and Elisa felt strongly that she needed to make Soraka apologize for it. The two of them quickly came to an agreement. With that decision made, the president declared that the official topic would be announced later that same day. Yuki volunteered to prepare the announcement and even offered words of encouragement to both Masachika and Elisa. After school, the two of them stayed behind to discuss strategies for dealing with Soraka. Elisa turned to Masachika and asked if he and Soraka really disliked each other that much for things to escalate this far. Masachika shook his head and explained that, in truth, they respected each other and had a fairly decent relationship. He guessed that Soraka might have misunderstood his intentions, thinking that he wasn't taking the election seriously. After all, he had originally been paired with Yuki, someone who had strong support, and then suddenly switched to working with another candidate. From Soraka's perspective, it probably looked suspicious. Hearing that made Elisa feel a bit guilty, as if her involvement had caused Masachika to be misunderstood. Because of that, she resolved to give it her all during the conference the next day. When the next day arrived, Mame approached Masachika to greet him. She was Soraka's partner, but since she wasn't required to speak at the conference, she seemed unusually relaxed.
Don't worry. I will make sure we win tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Been a while, Couscous. Let's have a good time today. Though, is that weird for me to say?
Almost makes it sound like we're here for a picnic or something fun.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be like soups bored while all of you are debating and stuff. I'm just gonna chill in the back. Oh. Hey girl, name's Nonoa Miyamai. I'm gonna be Saya's running mate, but who cares?
And my name is Elisa Cujo. I look forward to a good debate.
Got your head in the game. Gotta love that attitude. You and Saya could totally be besties.
That girl is Taniyama's partner?
Yep, they're childhood friends. Polar opposites, as you can see, but they balance each other out.
No kidding.
Miyamai's one of the most popular girls in school. She may seem like a strange choice, but there aren't many people as well connected as her.
I see. That is a powerful asset.
That isn't something we should worry about today, though. For now, we need to keep our targets locked on Taniyama.
Good point. Let's focus.
What do you think of the debated topic?
I don't really care. But isn't that Taniyama person the one who went up against our queen back when we were in middle school?
So the other one's a transfer?
Yeah, only thing I've heard about her is she has good grades.
Can I really do this? Don't they just ignore me, like the sports teams before? No, forget that. I'm also doing this for Kuze, for my running mate.
I think she can make it through a speech.
Taniyama's gonna run away with this.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yo, tell me, are you really an E-cup?
What?
Huh? Is this really the time to be asking something so inappropriate?
It's the best chance I'll ever have, when you think about it. Right? You can't hit me.
Literally, go die.
Ah, remembered I'm human garbage. Hopefully that calmed your nerves. Oh, yeah. Who's your opponent today?
Taniyama, right?
Not quite. You're debating her, but you're really up against your own head. Remember, perfection is the enemy of progress, so just go up there and say whatever you think sounds cool. And for what it's worth, I've got your back if things don't work out quite as well as we planned.
It's about time we got started. We will now commence the Student Congress. The motion is proposed by Sayaka Taniyama and Nonoa Miyamai.
After briefly introducing herself to Elisa, she headed inside. Masachika explained that Mame was Soraka's childhood friend. Even though their personalities and demeanor were completely different, they shared a strong bond. He also pointed out that Mame was an elite candidate with a wide network of connections throughout the school, rivaling anyone else. Still, for today, their only real focus was Soraka. Inside the hall, students were already whispering among themselves about the upcoming debate. Most of them believed Soraka would win without question. In their eyes, aside from her academic achievements, Elisa didn't really stand out. Standing in front of a crowd filled with murmurs and doubt, Elisa started to question whether she would even be able to speak properly. But then she thought about Masachika. That thought alone gave her the resolve she needed to push forward. Just as her determination was building, Masachika suddenly approached her and asked something completely out of place. Whether she was an E-cup. For a moment, Elisa froze, completely caught off guard, before snapping back and calling him a pervert. She couldn't believe he would bring something like that up at such a serious moment. Masachika casually replied that she couldn't hit him right now anyway, so he figured it was safe to ask. In reality, he was just trying to lighten her mood and ease her tension. Then his tone shifted slightly. He told her that her real opponent wasn't Soraka. It was the perfect version of herself that she felt pressured to live up to. He encouraged her to step forward as the coolest, most confident version of herself. If anything went wrong, he promised he would handle it. She just needed to go all out. At that moment, President Kenzaki announced the start of the student conference. The proposing side would speak first. Soraka stepped onto the stage and began her argument. She spoke about how current student council members were being accepted without proper selection. In her opinion, only outstanding students should be allowed to join. She
Opposed is Elisa Kujo, alongside Masachika Kuze. For the topic, should we introduce teacher screenings for entry into student council? Now, proposer, state your case.
Right. In theory, when selecting members of the council, the president and vice president should be carefully choosing their officers. In practice, this isn't the case, and they wind up accepting any entrants no matter their qualifications or lack thereof. When asked, former student council members confirmed this.
There are no prereqs?
Guess not.
Seriously? She was able to collect data directly from school alumni? No. It makes more sense if me and Mai took care of that.
So today, I posit that student council would better serve its people if comprised only of a chosen few. And I have no doubt each of you would agree. The moment they assume their office as a member of the council, they stand above you in hierarchy, no matter how poor their performance. Are you okay with that?
That's a clever move she pulled. Individual students wouldn't care, until she words it from their point of view.
To fight this, I propose requiring teacher approval. With this system, only those approved by staff could lead, and we would enjoy a council consisting of the best and brightest among our ranks. With more exclusivity, the students of our school may rest easy ensured leaders have earned their respect. So, my friends, I ask you for your support. Thank you. That is all I have to say.
Opposition, you may now proceed with your rebuttal.
Right.
You think she can turn it around?
Not a chance. Taniyama's already won. Let's at least hear what the Ice Princess has to say. Should be interesting.
I know what he said, but what do I think sounds cool? Yeah, something like that. I'm your current student council treasurer, otherwise known as Elisa Kujo, and I represent the student council, in opposition to this motion. If we are to believe Miss Taniyama, then teacher screenings are a necessary step to ensure student council officers earned your respect. But I argue, would that not do the opposite? Wouldn't it infringe on the student council's authority? After all, should this motion succeed, it would directly remove power from us students by disallowing the president and vice president the right to select their officers. Between all of the positions in the council, those two hold the highest authority and most deserve your respect, because unlike the others, they are chosen by popular vote. And thus do those who lead us rise, forged in the flames of a competitive election, and thus are...
He emphasized that if someone with poor performance or attitude became a council member, they would end up standing above others. She questioned whether that wouldn't make everyone uncomfortable. Because of that, she insisted that teacher evaluations were necessary to filter out only the best candidates. She concluded by urging everyone to support her vision of a more elite and authoritative student council. The audience responded positively, many already convinced that Soraka had secured her victory. Then it was time for the opposing side. Everyone turned their attention to Elisa, curious about what this seemingly arrogant princess would say. As she thought about presenting her best self, the image that came to her mind was unexpected. Lee Masachika, a small smile appeared on her face, and she began to speak. She calmly stated that she disagreed with incorporating teacher evaluations to strengthen the authority of the student council. In fact, she argued that doing so would weaken it. By introducing teacher involvement, the authority of appointing members would be taken away from the president and vice president. She explained that the positions of president and vice president were respected precisely because they had earned their roles through a competitive election. That was why the school entrusted them with the power to appoint council members. If that authority were shared with teachers, it would imply that the student council couldn't maintain its dignity without external interference. It would also limit the freedom of the president and vice president to choose candidates they believed were suitable, while forcing them to accept those favored by teachers. From the side, Masachika could see that Elisa was doing incredibly well. At this point, she was already matching Soraka. As Elisa finished her speech, applause filled the room. Next came the questioning phase. Soraka argued that teacher oversight was necessary to prevent the decline in the council's quality. Elisa responded by saying that the final decision should still rest with the president and vice president. She admitted that recognizing one's shortcomings and seeking support.
They granted several privileges by the Academy. And perhaps the most important privilege of all is the right to nominate their own officers. Should that rule fall, the effect would reach wide, as we would take our power and put it in the staff's hands. I offer, if we were to surrender that authority into the jurisdiction of teachers, it would be tantamount to saying that our student council cannot stand on its own. At our academy, we've always taken pride in our autonomy. And for that reason, great power has been granted to the students through the council. If all of its officers had to be approved by the staff, what do you think happens to that autonomy we've held on to for so long? We would lose all authority, without the chance to have final say. The president and vice president would be unable to recruit members they trust. Furthermore, should a teacher present someone to the council under their recommendation, they could not be refused.
Nice. She's staying composed up there. Perfect. Both Taniyama and Dahlia's arguments are good, and both have their flaws. Seems like the students are split. Think what you want, but I didn't tell her to say any of this. Every word came from Olya.
I thank you. This concludes my argument.
With that, we may now commence with the debate.
Sir,
Please.
you failed to address the matter of discernment. As I mentioned, no volunteer to the council has been turned down in the past 3 years.
And no problems have emerged from that fact. I fail to see where you take issue with it.
If we're to ensure continued quality, then introducing teacher screenings will be the way forward.
Should any need arise, the president and vice president have the authority to make that call. There would be no shame in accepting their shortcomings if they were to ask the teachers for help, but that should be their choice to make. It is an option, but not something that should be forced upon them.
You're gonna lose today, because you mistook who you were really up against. You've been too busy chasing my shadow this whole time, but Olya's your opponent. So then, what's your move?
I ask, what would the student body do if those in charge abuse their power?
To begin,
Who is this girl? Isn't she an outsider?
What would a transfer student know about our academy's ways? Taniyama's the obvious winner here.
Yeah, real classy, dude. You have plants?
I want an answer.
wait, what's the question? Quickly, say something. Anything. But what?
You've done great so far. Let me handle this one. Pardon me. I'll be tagging in from here. My partner could use a moment to rest her vocal cords. I guess that's what you get for being...
Support from teachers was valid, but emphasized that this wasn't something for her or Soraka alone to decide. At that point, Soraka began to lose ground. Masachika realized that her biggest mistake had been underestimating her opponent. She had been too focused on him, when the real challenge was Elisa. Suddenly, Mame sent something to Soraka's phone. Taking advantage of that, Soraka asked what would happen if the president and vice president abused their power. Almost immediately, murmurs spread through the audience. Some students questioned whether Elisa, who had only recently transferred, could truly understand the school. Seeing this, Masachika felt a surge of irritation. Mame had resorted to a dirty tactic. Hearing the crowd's doubts, Elisa's confidence began to waver. Just as she started to feel dizzy and on the verge of collapsing, a warm hand caught her. Masachika steadied her and gently told her that she had already done more than enough. He said he would handle the rest. He stepped forward, tested the microphone, and casually joked that Elisa had probably talked so much that her throat had gone dry. He teased that she usually stayed so quiet, so this was bound to happen. His light-hearted tone shifted the atmosphere, easing the tension in the room. Then he addressed the audience. He pointed out that there wasn't really anything left to debate. After all, hadn't they already made their decision when they elected Kenzaki as president? He openly stated that Kenzaki had once been a weak student with nothing particularly outstanding about him. In fact, he bluntly described him as someone who would never have been approved by teachers. Yet through relentless effort, Kenzaki had improved both his academic performance and his character, eventually becoming a worthy candidate for president. Masachika emphasized that this transformation was possible because the system allowed any passionate student to rise and become a council member. So he asked again, was there really anything left to argue about? Kenzaki seemed a bit surprised at being teased like that.
So quiet in class all the time. Like honestly, this is the most any of them have heard you talk all year. What do you say? Let's try to finish this up quickly so we can let her off the hook, and the rest of us can get back to something more fun. Here's a question for you. Why are we even debating this? I believe all of you already made up your minds a while back. After all, you elected President Kenzaki, no? You know he used to be a slacker. Before his candidacy, barely anyone could have even picked him out of a crowd. Let's not mince any words here. He was the kind of dweeb who wouldn't be able to get the teacher's attention, let alone their recommendation. But now, we can see that our press put in some hard work. All of his grades went up, he got way stronger, and each of us got a front row seat to his metamorphosis into a worthy class president. Didn't you vote for him because you wanted to see what the next chapter of his success story was? Now we have the ever-capable Kenzaki as our president. And all that happened because our system allows for anyone with enough drive and passion to become a student council officer. So I ask you all again, what are we doing pretending like this is a debate?
Alright then, while I admit I wasn't prepared for the sudden bullying from my junior member, I believe we can move on to closing statements, assuming neither side has further questions. Is that acceptable to everyone?
Saya!
You too?
Okay, they win, we lose. Bye.
Is that your official statement? Then am I safe to interpret this as the proposing side withdrawing their motion?
Sure, fine by me. Sorry for this big mess my girlie Saya made for you all.
The motion is withdrawn with no closing statement. That will conclude this student congress.
What do you say, Masachika? Would you close us out?
Yes. I'm on it, Yuki.
When I saw those two together, I thought I'd seen the perfect duo. They trusted wholly that the other had their back through anything. In that moment, I believed their bond so strong it was insurmountable. So I never had a chance at beating them in the first place. That helped me accept my defeat, though it did make me jealous. And then I saw them together. I felt so betrayed. Hold on! Tell me why! Why did it have to be you? I'd already made my peace with losing to Kuze and Suo, but then you...
By a junior, but he quickly regained his composure. He turned to the proposing side and asked if they had any objections left. With no way to win, Soraka simply left the stage. Elisa immediately ran after her. Seeing this, Mame raised her hand in surrender and apologized on Soraka's behalf for causing trouble. Kenzaki then officially declared the proposal rejected and brought the conference to a close. Back in middle school, Soraka had witnessed the perfect harmony between Masachika and Yuki. Their relationship had been built on complete trust and mutual support. Even though she had felt a bit envious, she had accepted her loss to a pair with such a strong bond. That was why, when Masachika left Yuki to partner with Elisa, she felt betrayed. As Soraka ran, overwhelmed with emotion, Elisa caught up and grabbed her. Soraka demanded to know why Elisa had come between Masachika and Yuki. To her, that pair had been something she could never surpass, something that had made her give up. And now, someone else had stepped in and taken that place. Elisa released her grip and calmly told Soraka to say everything she wanted. Soraka hesitated, realizing she had no real right to blame anyone. Everything stemmed from her own assumptions, her admiration, her expectations, and the sense of betrayal she had created for herself. She had simply lashed out. At that moment, Mame arrived and apologized to Elisa, saying she would handle the rest. Understanding Soraka needed comfort, Elisa nodded. Before leaving, she admitted that she didn't fully understand why Masachika had chosen her. But she wanted to honor his decision, and she would keep trying until one day Soraka would acknowledge her. With that, she walked away, leaving behind the impression of someone genuinely sincere. Soraka couldn't help but recognize it too. Elisa was the one Masachika had chosen. Once she calmed down, she planned to apologize to both of them.
And ruined the bond they had! I accepted it because they were so close! So why? You...
Go ahead. Say whatever you need to say. I accept it all.
You're so nice, but I don't have the right to speak like this. I feel like such an idiot right now. They're larger than life, in my mind. So when I saw the two of them fall apart, I blamed you. But in reality, the people I lost to weren't actually that special, so...
Found you! Aw, look who needed a breather. Just let it all out, girl. Hey, I'm really sorry, Kujo. She'll be okay, so let me handle things from here.
Are you sure?
We're good. Please, my turn.
Taniyama? Even I don't know why Kuze chose to run with me instead. Honestly, I was more shocked than anyone else. But I promise you, I will see to it that his faith in me is justified. I believe he was right, and I intend to work hard, so you'll believe it as well. That's all.
She may seem tough, but she's actually got a heart of gold.
I would expect no less. Because after all, Kuze chose her.
When you've calmed down, you might want to give Couscous and her an apology. I'll go with you, of course.
My brother is so soft at heart. If he had wanted to end this charade, he could have done so far earlier than he had elected to. But who cares? If this is all they've got, they are still nothing before my might. If they're too kind, they will fall to someone who's ready to kill. Are you with me?
Do you think so? From what I saw of Master and Miss Kujo, they seem to put on a fine performance.
Ayano?
Yes?
What do you not understand about what we're doing up here? You and I should simply ooze confidence, like we're a couple weirdo creeps who push their dark-tinted glasses up their nose before laughing at our enemies! How can you be my running mate if you don't even know how to give off final boss vibes?
I apologize, Mistress. My ignorance now has let you down.
Like, come on, get your friggin' act together. Why do you think I agreed to handle sound and lighting for the debate even though it gets so hot up here?
If it would not offend, may I ask for clarification?
Spit it out.
You insist that we should give off final boss vibes, but is that not the trait of characters who always wind up losing to heroes in the end? Also, I am aware I have relayed the rules, but food and drink are not permitted in here.
Ayano, it's time to go home.
Yes, Mister.
Meanwhile, in the audio room, Yuki criticized her brother for being too naive. She believed he should have shut down the situation much earlier, warning that his kindness might lead to his own downfall. Asano, however, thought that both Masachika and Elisa had done well. Yuki had been enjoying playing the role of a superior antagonist, but Azano's comment completely ruined her mood. When Azano jokingly wondered if that strong aura always ended in defeat, Yuki dramatically acted as if she had fallen to the bottom of society, then quickly ordered him to go clean up instead of asking more questions. Later, Elisa told Masachika about what Soraka had said earlier. She promised that she would keep working hard to prove that his choice hadn't been a mistake, and that one day Soraka would acknowledge her abilities. Then she asked him why he had chosen her instead of Yuki. Masachika answered honestly. He said he had partnered with Yuki in the past because she had asked him to, and he couldn't refuse due to a lingering sense of guilt. That feeling had always made him feel suffocated. He admitted that his motivation back then had been meaningless. People had even called him a puppet vice president, but the truth was, he had simply avoided standing in the spotlight. This time, however, it was different. He had chosen, of his own will, to aim for the vice president position alongside Elisa. So she didn't need to compare herself to Yuki. Hearing that, Elisa couldn't help but laugh softly. Then Masachika asked her why she had chosen to run with him. Elisa answered simply, in Russian, that it was because of him. Masachika blinked in confusion and asked what she had just said, but she only smiled and invited him to walk home together. Then, out of nowhere, she brought up his earlier comment about her chest size. Panicking, Masachika quickly explained that someone he knew had told him she was around an E-cup. Elisa replied in Russian that he was close, and then promptly locked him out, leaving him completely stunned.
I spoke to her afterwards. She said you and Yuki seemed larger than life together. Your bond was special, and that's what helped her accept her defeat.
That's so.
Us two. Just watch.
Huh?
She'll see that our bond is just as powerful as the one she knew. We'll seem larger than life too. I'll work hard and prove you were right to choose me.
You'll give it your all, and I'll give it mine.
Hey, can I ask you something?
Hmm.
Why are you running with me? You would have been tough to beat with Yuki, so why?
Back in middle school, I never actually wanted to run with Yuki. If I'm being honest, I just didn't want to let her down. Part of it was genuinely wanting to support her, not hard to cheer her on. But much more than that, I think I was being driven by my sense of guilt.
Why did you feel so guilty?
It's a long story, but that's probably why I felt trapped back then. Compared to everyone else around me, I didn't have any hopes or dreams that were making me excited to keep going. That sense of guilt felt like the only reason I'd bother waking up some days, so I was a pathetic mess who kept putting himself down. They thought I was some mastermind pulling the strings in the shadows, but that's not why I hid. I was just always so desperate to avoid the spotlight. But now things are different. I decided to run for vice president because I truly wanted to. Because of you. So don't worry. It's not like I'm making a comparison to Yuki. It's more like, well, I've said just enough. I think you understand.
Do I now? That seemed like a good chance. I was hoping you'd put it in words there.
Shut up. I see that grin. I'm done here. Your turn. What's your answer?
To what?
Same thing you asked. Why are you running with me?
Oh, and here I figured you already knew.
Huh?
Потому что это ты.
You mind translating?
Let's go. It's getting late.
Yes, ma'am.
By the way, Kuze, why'd you ask the other thing?
What thing?
That stuff about my chest size, remember?
Just trying to lighten the mood. A girl I know had suggested something to that effect, size-wise. She said it looked like you were probably around an E-cup, as a guess.
Почти правильно.
Really? Which way?
Thank you so much for watching this video on Lin San Reaction. I truly appreciate you spending your time here with me. If you enjoyed this reaction, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment to share your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any upcoming content. Your support means a lot and really helps the channel grow. I'll be bringing you more exciting reactions, unexpected moments, and fun discussions very soon. Stay tuned for the next video, and until then, take care and have an amazing day. See you again on Lin San Reaction.